I want to talk about what I call the pyramids. For me, what I call the pyramids is the grand scheme and the grand building of my life. My label, my music, and the whole universe I'm building. I like to say that it's a pyramid that I'm building, you know, and then, oh my God. Oops. So yeah, the way I see it is I'm building pyramids, and in reality, I'm building a spaceship. And every single element that I'm building is part of that grand plan that I have. When I was 11, 12, and I was supposed to sleep because I had school in the morning, I would dream of camels and people, and I would see pyramids being built. I'm not lying to you. I would dream, and I would be sometimes insomniac, and every time I would close my eyes, I would see pyramids being built. And then and everything, all the operation, rocks being taken, that, desert, pyramids being built. It's something that I would like obsessed about it so much that I could not sleep. I was insomniac until, I don't know, the age of, I don't even know, because I work so much now that it might be the reason why I might still be insomniac, but because I work at night. But at that time, I was dreaming, like every time I would close my eyes, I would see pyramids being built in like high speed in and I would just think about that so much that it was impossible for me to sleep. And then I would be like so tired in the next day. And then every night would be the same thing. Impossible to sleep. I would just be there thinking, and every time I would close my eyes, I would see pyramids being built. And I don't know if it has something to do with today, but probably, knowing me and my life. At a point, at a point, like I told you before, I never dreamed or I never wanted to be a leader of anything. I just wanted to do my thing. I was not interested in being out there too much. I wanted to be discreet and, go in and do whatever I wanted to do in life. Then music became my passion. But even in music, I just wanted to be a beat maker and not make any noise, just be that guy making beats in the back. I would make beats for my sister, and she was signed to Universal as a rapper, and that's it. And I want to explain how I became a leader. How I became a leader of opinion, how I became a leader of the digital sensei, how I finally understood that I was supposed to do the things. And I've been explaining to you a lot of these experiences through the episodes, but I want to explain the Sony music publishing experience. I guess I did. So back in 98, Lil Maro and I get signed to in a catalog that belonged to a friend of us, and we get signed to Sony Music Publishing. And all my vision, all the things I did back in 98, I knew I wanted to do them, but I never thought I would do them as a leader. I was thinking I would do them working for some people or under the direction of some people. I didn't think I would be the one. I always thought like I'd love to be part of a show on YouTube, do live streams on YouTube, etc. I always thought about this. But in my head I was like, yeah, somebody's gonna do that show and I'm gonna be a guest. I didn't think it would be my show. I always loved making beats, bringing other artists, creating, crafting art, but then I wanted somebody else to sell it. I wanted to be the maker, not the seller, not the leader. I never thought that I would change Zouk, change Kizomba, change Coupé Décalé. I was just like, yeah, I just want to be part of it. But then every time I was part of something, I was made the leader. And it always started with frustration. And the building of pyramids is, to me, a metaphor for the creation of my own culture. And when I mean culture, I'm saying, yeah, way of life, way of doing business, way of interacting with other artists, way of all these things, who I am right now and all the great things that I've been doing, even this show. Today, I believe that I'm the one who has to be the architect, and at the same time, I have to be the one who is at the creation and at the helm. Because of all the frustration that I lived through the years, working with other people who had the power to, and I realized that every time you work with somebody, you will have the power to just shut you down. Then you cannot fulfill your vision. And it's crazy because until right now, when I talk to you about, I didn't even remember that I used to be insomniac and I would see pyramids being built. And I would dream about it all the time, etc. Hey, Rosa. So, when I was a kid, I remember those, every time I had a TV, every time I had a Walkman, a Discman, it was from the Sony brand. And you had that sticker, "It's a Sony." And you know, you would have your "It's a Sony" sticker and put it in your stuff. Like, it was really like the brand. Sony was like everything. I wanted to have Sony TV, Walkmans from Sony, etc. Everything from Sony. And thank you, sister. And you know, I was in this thing where, yeah, Sony was a brand. Like, it was an amazing brand for me. So when I got offered to sign at Sony Music Publishing in 98, to me, I thought about not only Sony, the publishing, and Sony ATV Music Publishing that was owned partly by Michael Jackson, but for me it was, yeah, listen, this is the brand from my childhood. This is Sony. I'm gonna sign to Sony. And they gave me around, back in the days, I think it was 100,000 francs, so probably 16,000 euros in gear. And I just bought a lot of equipment to make music. and a little bit of money to stay, uh, to become, yeah, to have some money, So, um, is it my mission? Probably. Up to you to say. I can't really, but I mean, I guess it was everything I'm doing was meant to be. So when I signed my contract, my objective was simple, and I think so. I was having the conversation earlier with Motomoto Music about when I did when I did the album Sunlight. So that's the album that came out. Let me see if I see it. So Sunlight is this one. Oops. So Angel City Sunlight is available on the platform. You go check it out. You can go check it out. And those are albums. It's an album of 16 beats that I did at that time. And those beats, in my head, I was like, hey, listen, I'm at Sony Publishing. My album is also out on a record label that is part of Sony Music. So normally I should have access to all the big artists in France, in Spain, in Portugal, and in the US as well, because I'm making beats that are as good as my heroes out there in the US. And now that I'm part of Sony, I'm gonna be able to have my music heard, at least heard. They might not like it, but at least they will hear it. And if they hear it, it means they might say, oh, I love this beat. Who made it? Can he come to New York? Or can we receive the tracks, whatever? Or can we use it? Or can we buy it? And then, since you gave me 16,000 euros of advance, you're gonna make your advance back by putting me in project. The real problem happened because at that moment the record industry is dealing with piracy. So 99, 2000, the record industry is dealing with piracy, and numbers are going down. People are not buying CDs anymore because they can download it on Kazaa, LimeWire, Napster, etc., etc. So when these things happen, those big record companies, they usually tend to regroup, or they tend to swallow each other to stay afloat and to become bigger. And what happened at that moment was that I think EMI swallowed Chrysalis, and Sony merged with BMG. It is not about the mission, I guess. Just at first, you knew what you desired. Many people don't have a clue about what they want. And the second, you have the fourth to make it real. Yeah, we can see it this way as well. So, at that moment, Sony and BMG. So BMG was huge. At that time, you had Virgin Records, BMG, Sony, Warner, EMI, and then a bunch of independent labels. But they were big enough, right? And so Sony started swallowing all the smaller ones, and everybody started swallowing. And then once there was only like 7 majors, they all ate each other. So now Virgin got swallowed by EMI, BMG got swallowed by Sony, or they merged and it became Sony Music Entertainment. And then you just had EMI, and then you got Warner, and then you got Universal. Universal was a bunch of other places, and then it just became Universal. So you had like Universal became the bigger one because they swallowed everybody, and then you had Sony that was big because it's Sony, and because of all the catalog they had, Michael Jackson, etc. And then you had Warner Music. And if you've never been inside of a merger between 2 companies, what's interesting about a merger is that there's a lot of people who get sent away because they have, let's say you have 10 A&Rs at Sony and 10 A&Rs at BMG. You don't need 20 A&Rs. Maybe you're just gonna need 12. So 8 have to go. And it's like this for every part of the job. So Lil Maro and I, we used to be super cool with our A&Rs. So the A&Rs are the ones who their job is to listen to our beats or the songs we write, and then take them and make them listen to the artists that they're working with. And since the Sony Music and Sony Music Publishing, it was more or less the same company in France, even if we had our own building. The goal was, we make all these beats and maybe write some songs, and those beats and songs get sent to artists, rappers that they sign, or rappers that they know from other whatever. That's their goal. And us, me and Lil Maro and I, we in the studio, we just cooking, and then we give them the cookies and they make something with the cookies. Once they make something with the cookies, somebody like the beat, it becomes a hit or whatever, they make a song, it generates revenue, intellectual revenue, so composition rights for us, publishing rights for them. Everybody makes money, everybody's happy. It's a good reason that they signed us. And to me, that was the plan. So I was like, hey guys, you guys have great pyramids here. I want to be part of, I want to help build more with you. That's how I was seeing it. And because of the merger, all of a sudden, we end up with all these, all these things. And so I remember getting invited to come talk to my A&R, which was Tomasz Kolnikov back then. And he tells me, I'm leaving the company. I was like, what? Why? Yeah, I'm leaving because, the merger, and hey, it's going to be guys from BMG. Now they're going to be Sony, and those guys are so one of them's going to take my place, and he's going to be the one you're going to deal with. So to me, I was like, but I was okay. But what I didn't realize was that the new guy was somebody I didn't know about. And he didn't know me, and he's not the guy who signed me. So maybe he didn't care about me. Who knows? And that's exactly what happened. There's some new guys who arrived, and they arrived like cowboys. They arrived with the beat makers that they like. They brought their people, and they didn't care about us. And we had mad talent back in the days. And I remember the first time that I did a meeting with the new guy that that came from that became now the head of A&R at Sony Music Publishing. So I come with my cassettes so I can play him some of my beats and stuff, and see, meet him and start having conversation and trying to connect. And great thing, the guy was black. When I've been dealing with white people who listen to rock and roll when they go home, for the first time I was dealing with a black guy. So more to me, I was like, oh, like in my head I was like, hey, he's a black guy, dress hip hop, that's cool. He's gonna understand what I do, he's gonna understand what I want to do, he's one of us. That's gonna be amazing. So first meeting, so I'm here with my tapes, and so I bring my cassette with a few of my latest beats. I did a selection of like 10 beats, and so yeah, I'm Kaysha, nice meeting you, blah 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 blah, da, 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 da. Yeah, I'm gonna be the one, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. And the first thing he does, he starts playing beats from his homies, and he plays me some beats from other people. Beats were nice, and yeah, I hear the beats, and once he made me hear like 4 or 5 beats, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna check out what I have, and he tells me, yeah, that's real hip hop, and yeah, you should do stuff like that, and yo, listen, that's the shit, and he never heard my stuff. And okay, so after that meeting, I was confused. I was like, okay, but anyway, maybe next time, you will hear my stuff, and who knows. And so I spent another month, a week, whatever. And so I had Bounce Baby that was going. So I was doing shows as well. So I was busy doing my other business, which was performing. And after a month, and things are settled, now it's like you're in a new organization, because let's say I sign you to become part of Club Shada, to be a presenter and to do shows, maybe the days that I'm not live. Let's say there's a day for Olga, a day for Rosa, a day for Joel, a day for Master Electronic, and now Club Shada is just a show that is live every day, and every day is a different person, but everybody has access to the channel, and nobody's live at the same time. But let's say, yeah, Wednesdays, Sundays, Kaysha, and the rest of the time it's other people. And we have this conversation, and I'm, explaining to the people how I wanna lift them up, whatever. And for some reason, I sell sushiraw and my YouTube channel and everything to a big conglomerate. I sell them to Verizon or to Mayo or whatever. And when those people arrive, they look at all the assets and they're like, Joel, Master Electronic, I don't care about all these people. And so you come at work, as always, and people tell you that's how a live should be done. And you're like, yeah, but you didn't hear my stuff. And it took me, I don't remember if me and Lil Mauro, we talked about it at that time. But it took me maybe a month to realize that I was in hostile territory in a place where I was signed. Because all of a sudden, the new guy who was the head of A&R was trying to prove to the guy who signed us that he was better than him, and instead of using us, he wanted to just use his people, and he brought his beat makers, the person that he signed at BMG. Of course. And the person that he signed, he wanted to have those people and to show like, yeah, it's me, I'm in charge now. And listen, you want to be in charge, I don't care. It's not my problem. I'm signed to Sony. If you're the new boss or you're the new guy, yeah, use us. We got beats. If you hear and you have to do stuff, go ahead. But the guy was like, oh no, the people who were signed by the guy before me, fuck them too. And me, I was like, yo. So how did I see that this guy was actually hostile to us? Was that one day, so something I used to do at Sony, because at that time, again, still too far. But at that time, we used CDs, So my album went on CDs, and because I was not playing on French radio, what I would do, I would go to Sony, and I would prepare like 20 or 30 or 50 albums, and I would go on the internet and find for all the radios all around the world. Radios in Russia, radios in the Bahamas, radios in Jamaica, all these radios. And I would find the name of the DJs, and I would do a letter with, hey, listen, I'm Kaysha, I'm an artist from France, this is my album, there's Zouk, Kizomba, all these styles inside, hip-hop, da-da-da-da. Please listen to it, and hopefully you will love it. And I would have like 50 albums like this, and I would go to Sony to the service of the mail service, and of course I asked permission, of course, to do it. But then I would go there to Sony, and so the girls at the women that used to work at the mailing, they were all my friends. They all love me, And I would go and be like, yeah, here's the 50 albums, da 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 da. Can I say, yeah, of course, Kay, do your thing. So I would sit down there. They have some special, those envelopes with bubbles inside to not destroy the CD. So I would wrap everything in envelopes, and then have a message for every DJ around the world, and then I would just use Sony to ship them everywhere, because it would be for free for us, and for them they didn't care, because they shipped stuff all the time. And so one day I go to see the new guy, and so we have our meeting. So again, I have like, I have some beats that I want to make you listen to. So he hears one beat. He plays one of my beats for 1 minute. He plays it for 1 minute, and then he stops, and then he starts playing the beats from his guys. And he's like, yo, that's how you do beats. Those are the real beats. And I'm like, yeah. And I tell him, I mean, listen, understand those are your guys, and you love what they do, and they're great. Actually, they did great stuff, those guys. But I'm not here to listen to what your guys are doing. I'm here for you to listen to what I do, and see what we can do. Like, maybe there's a movie, maybe there's a singer, maybe there's a rapper, something where you could place my beats, because that's the reason why I'm signed to you guys. And he was like, yeah, but you should do beats more like my guys. And I was like, that's not really my style, but yeah, I'll try to do stuff more, whatever. But here's the tape. Please take the time to listen to it, because I understand those are your guys, but since we work together now, I'm your guy as well, and I want you to succeed, And if I can help you succeed, that's perfect for everybody and for Sony. The guy's like, yeah, okay. And then before I go, he's like, oh, by the way, and he gives me all my CDs in their envelopes. And he's like, oh, it's not a post office here. That's when I knew I was in a hostile environment. And I was like, yo. So I was 26 at that time. Me and Lil Maro and I remember when Lil Maro and I, we understood that we were in a hostile environment, but we were signed and we had no way out. So one day, Lil Maro and I, we would, a lot of times, we would go to the studio because there was like 3 studios. And there was one studio for beat makers that you could use. You could just say, hey, I need to use the studio Thursday from 8 p.m. till 2 a.m., for example. And is there an engineer that is available? And so what you're going to do? No, we're going to make some beats. We're going to, me and Lil Maro, Lil Maro and I, we would, just sit with our computers, go there and inspire each other. And he would kick some beats, I would kick some beats, and then I would listen. And it's not the same thing when you are listening to, you do a beat at home and you have neighbors and you cannot hear them like loud, right? And so it would be great to have 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 10 hours in the studio where you can just be there and listen to your beats and maybe cook something. And then the engineer is there, is cool, he doesn't care. Sometimes he's just there chilling or sleeping because we just playing music, or sometimes we're making beats, but the engineer just have to be there. And sometimes we would stay all night. I would even with another friend of mine, sometimes we would just go to the club that was not far, bring some girls from the club at 4 a.m. and everybody's just chilling in the studios and we're just listening to beats. And then it was a way to emulate ourselves, right? And Mauro and I would go to the Sony music studios probably 3 times or 4 times a month. So it was not like we were there all the time. And one day, we go to the studio engineers and we're like, yo, hey, what up, Rafa? When can we book a session to listen to some beats? We need to listen to our beats in the studio to see how they sound and to prepare some CDs for the artists to listen to, the other Sony artists, the other people, the writers, whatever, so we can, maybe send some CDs to the US, some CDs to the Latin America, whatever, to Spain, etc., etc. And he's like, the studio is booked, fully booked. I'm like, what you mean? No, the studio is booked. Yeah, but it's booked when? It's booked for the next 2 months. I'm like, what you mean it's booked for the next 2 months? Like, who books the studio for the next 2 months? And they're like, oh, the new guy put his group and now they're in the studio for 2 months. And I'm like, but what they do in the studio for 2 months? Are they working on an album? Are they working? It's like, no, they playing beats and smoking joints and playing PlayStation. And the engineer was himself frustrated. So I go meet the guys. We go to the studio, me and Mauro. We meet the guys, cool guys. You know, they're like, hey, what up? Okay, Kaysha, I love what you do. Cool, fine. And they had a beat playing on loop on the MPC, and it was playing for the whole time we were talking. They were not working. They were just there chilling with friends. And yeah, they were there, a bunch of friends, some girls, and they just there chilling in the studio. And I'm like, so are you guys gonna be there for like 2 months? Because, you know, we would love to use the studio as well to do some things. They were like, bro, you know, yeah, you know, hey, just see with the guys when you need the studio, and yeah, you know, whenever you need the studio, we'll just leave some space for you guys to do your session. It's all good, because it was a studio built for Sony publishing artists to write songs, to make beats, to whatever, create demos, and etc. So, and the guys were like, yeah, listen, no problem. I mean, hey, whenever you need a studio, just let us know, or just see with the big boss up there, and we will, you know, whenever we need to leave the studio for you, we leave the studio for you. Okay, cool. So we go back to the new guy, and we tell the new guy, hey, what up? Listen, the guy is our age. It's not like if it's some old guy. The guy's our age. We tell him, hey, bro, we see that you booked the studio for 2 months for your guys. We'd love to have maybe one time every week, maybe even Sundays. We don't care. Like one day where we can use the studio, because we usually that's what we do. And the guy tells me the studio is fully booked. And I tell him, I understand, but I just talked to your guys, and you know, they're fine. They don't mind giving us a day so we can work as well. And he replies to me, the studio is fully booked. Motherfucker. So me and Mauro look at each other. We're like, it's too bad that Mauro is not at the live at this time. Yeah, he's sleeping properly. It's 3 a.m. in Paris. So, oh my God, no. So at that time, damn, I keep losing money. The hell? Let me see how much money I lost from cryptos, the crypto apocalypse. Cryptos. Damn. Keeps going down. Maybe I'm gonna buy some more. Anyway, so we are now in this moment where we are now like this, and we don't have access to the studio now at Sony, and we have somebody that is supposed to be the liaison between us and Sony music artists or other artists from other record companies, and who doesn't care about us, who doesn't give a flying fuck about us. He just wants to be there, and you know, now I'm, you know, we just stopped going there. And yeah, we didn't have a choice, so we stopped going there. And that's how we had it. So that was the first part of the frustration. Then on my own label, where I was signed at that time, I've been telling the guys, the label owners, dis on veut des noms. Non, justement non. Ce sont des gens qui sont tous célèbres, donc non. Pas de nom. At the same time, the label where I'm signed to, I keep telling them ideas that I have. I keep telling them, look, you have a townhouse, that's the label. So it was a label that was that belonged to Sony, or they had a deal with Sony, but they had their own separate building, and it was me, Tanya Saval, and some other artists signed there, and it was more like Caribbean music, whatever. And they had three floors. First floor was the reception, etc., and the workers and the receptionist and assistants, whatever. Second floor was the second floor was the what's going on, old guy? For real, yeah. Second floor was the two owners of the label, so the ones who signed me when I did my first 2 albums with. And the third floor there was nothing there. So I go and I sit down with them and I tell them, listen, I have this amazing idea. You guys are building your own pyramids and I want to be part of it. I want to help you build. What if you buy microphones, soundboards, etc., etc. What's going on? Why is everybody saying what? And what's going on? So at that moment, I tell them, hey, listen, on the third floor, there's nothing. You could build a studio, a real studio. You need like a this machine, then that machine, then these and those microphones, and this. If you spend, I don't know, back then, 10,000 euros or 5,000 euros, so we can have like our own place. I got a lot of guys that we can bring, and I can help you make money. You will make so much money because I can bring Lil Maro, I can bring this, I can bring that, I can bring Top One, I can bring the Organize. I have my home, I have all my crew, and we all have, I know all the talent, and all these people are telling me, yo, Kaysha, lead, be the leader. And I don't want to be the leader, but I can bring them here so you can lead them. And I remember, so I was probably 2000. Yeah, it was in 2000. 99, 2000, same times. And so I explained to them everything I want to do. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna bring the artists, I'm gonna make the beats for everybody, and you will invest in all that. We create a label. It's gonna be called Organized Bambino. That was the name of the label that I wanted to have this name. And you're gonna own the label, and you will give me 30% of the money that you make. And listen, if we sell 10,000 of something and you make 100,000 after expenses, you give me 30%. So if you make 20% every day, if you make 20K every time I do an album, that's amazing. And I'm helping you build that universe. And because, hey, look, I sold you 100,000 albums of my first album, and I have all these ideas and all these guys. They have talent. Elisio, Lincha, ABG, Sumia, all these people, Nikos, Ali Angel, all these people, they're around me. So, you know, said you bring it left over behind. Of course. And so I explained to them the whole idea. I said, look, this is the landscape. You can build this, and this. You will own those pyramids. And they finished. They let me talk. They let me talk for a good hour. And when I'm done, they both look at each other and they start laughing. They start laughing and they're like, he thinks he's P. Diddy. He thinks that he's Dr. Dre. He wants, and they start laughing. And okay. So they start laughing at my idea. And okay. I guess they don't want to do it, so they don't want to do it. At that moment, they want to sign another artist. They really want to sign Jean-Michel Rotin, who is the biggest artist of the Caribbean at that time. They really want to sign Jean-Michel Rotin to the label so that they can then get some money from Sony, and they are trying to break a Caribbean artist to become like major artist. And so they go to Jean-Michel Rotin and they tell Jean-Michel, hey, listen, we want to sign you. We will give you an advance of, back then, I don't know. I'm inventing numbers, but let's say 30,000 euros. We'll give you an advance, and we'll pay whatever you need to record your album. You want to go in New York, you want to go in this, you want to go to record whenever you want to do. And Jean-Michel tells them, I want to have my own label. And they tell Jean-Michel everything I told them. From the beginning to finish. They're like, hey, listen, on the 3rd floor, we can build you a studio. We're gonna do this. Your label's gonna be there, and you can bring all your artists, and then it's a collaboration, and we'll give you X% and blah 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 blah. As long as we have you as an artist, we sign you as an artist, we will sign your label Funboy on the 3rd floor, and we will buy whatever equipment you want, etc. And then this becomes your base, and then And Jean-Michel calls one of the artists that was with me, which was Lincha, and they tell her, hey, we want to sign you to the new label that we're doing, and don't say nothing to Kaysha. And then they call all my guys, but especially her, because I discovered her, and it was our dream that one day I would produce her album. And so one day she's in my house, and she's not comfortable. She's like kind of crying, and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I can't keep the secret anymore. Yeah, I got a proposition to be signed to the new label from this guy, and this guy is my hero. I don't know what to do. And I was like, sign. Yeah, go ahead. It's your dream. Do it. I can't provide that dream to you, but I mean, that's my boy. So yeah, listen, Go ahead, do it with him. But I don't understand why they want to hide it from me. I don't understand because for me, I mean, as long as one of us win, everybody wins. That's how I feel. So I don't understand why it has to be some secrets and whatever. But then I discover as well that my idea of a label inside of a sub-label inside of where I was signed is completely given to another artist. And yeah, they explained to him like all this. And my friend, who I start with and etc., wants to sign the people that my team, and I mean, they can just call me and say, hey, listen, what do you think? We would love to work with her, but they prefer to do it behind my back. And I don't understand why. So I'm super disappointed, but at the same time, I understand that, my God. So, and I understand that it's, I mean, I understand that that's her dream, you know. I understand that that's her dream. So I'm like, hey, listen, you know what? Don't feel bad. Go live your dream. So, yeah. Exactly, Ellis. So now, at that moment, I'm super disappointed, of course, by everybody, by the people that I'm signed with at Sony Music Publishing, but also at the people that I'm signed at Sony Records, the label that was at Sony Records. And I was seeing these people like my second and third dad. Like, to me, it was like me when I work with people, and when my faithfulness is indefectible. So all of a sudden, just like the world, like the ground is falling under my feet, because now I don't know what to do. And even my friend, who's like, that's my homie, we've been on tour forever, he wants to sign the girl that I work with, that I discovered, behind my back, instead of telling me straight to the face. And now I would be like, yeah, listen, she always like, we met at your show, so I know she's your number one fan, so of course, listen, go, like, do it. I can't provide this, so go ahead and listen, just at least let me do a beat or two. That, to me, that was enough, right? But everybody's just acting like everything is fine. And me, I'm not a guy who like to be scandalous, so I'm also not saying nothing. So she's telling me that, yeah, she's going to French Guiana to record in the studio of my mentor. And yeah, they're gonna record her album. And I'm like, hey, I'm super happy for you. It's the best thing that could happen to you. And he doesn't say nothing to me, because I call him and say, what's up, bro? Nothing. Okay. I call his girl, who called my artist. I mean, my friend, she was not my artist, but, and, hey, what up? Nothing much. How are you? Okay. They pretend nothing. I call my label. Hey, what up? So what about my idea of a label? And they're like, yeah, let us think about it. All right. All right. I'm starting to understand who I'm dealing with and the kind of business I'm in. It's not all love. It's about power struggle and fuck or being fucked. Okay, so I'm like, okay, all right. So I go to Belgium. I stay in Belgium a bit. And did I already meet the mother of my son? Not sure. I think yes. I think we met in 2000. We had Ilian in 2003. So probably at that time I'm back and forth between Belgium and France. So at a point I go to South America. I go for a show, and because I go for a show, because I lived there for a whole year, and my mentor lives there, and my mentor is like, you're not gonna stay to the hotel, come home. And so I go to his house, and I'm like, I extend my stay for 2 weeks, and he's like, oh hey, Lincha is here, she's recording your album, you have to come check. And I'm like, oh yeah, great. And she calls me, she's like, oh, you have to come see what we're doing, the album is amazing. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing, I'm coming, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. So the next day, I go to the studio to check the album, to listen to what they're doing. And so my label financed this whole project. And when I arrived there, Jean-Michel is there, but not only Jean-Michel, Greg, all his team of friends that we toured together with her, and everybody's working on the album. And I'm like, and when I arrive in the studio, everybody is acting normal, like if I knew or whatever. And nobody's like, oh my God, Kaysha is here. Everybody's like, yo, what up, bro? And so I listen to the music, and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, yo, this is an amazing album. And I tell her, hey, congratulations. This is gonna work. It's gonna be amazing. Can't wait for this to come out. The world is not ready for that. Yeah, the music is amazing beats, etc. So I'm super happy for her, and for me, this is what is the most important. The fact that everybody is acting like a hypocrite around me in the room, especially my friend. I'm like, hey, you know what? Okay. So after that, I have this kind of bittersweet thing where I'm like super happy for my friend, super happy for somebody that I met when she was 16 or 18, coming out of the church, and we did all these things together, and now she's about to have her own project. So I'm super happy, but at the same time, I'm kind of sad that it has to be this way. It has to be done by my label, behind my back, investing in my idea with another person, and that other person is my friend that I got in the world of Zouk with, and that we supposed to tour together. I was his dancer and all these things. Like, it's kind of a what's going on. So I'm like, I'm at the same time super happy, and I'm the same time super sad. So and at the same time, Lil Maro and I are just trapped in a contract of 7 years with Sony Music, where we are probably in 2000 or 2001. So it means we still have 5 years to go, or 4 years to go. And yeah, we're here. And the people that we work with are hostile, and they're not taking our music nowhere. They're not giving our music to other people. And my label is betraying me at the same time. So I go to Brussels, and I just I do what I do in these moments. I just become Angel City. So I start making music under the name Angel City, and so I do all these beats. So I do all these beats of this album. So all these beats are done at that period, and I do all these beats, and I sell them in a website called mp3.com. And yeah, I'm just happy. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck music. Fuck everybody. Fuck making albums. Fuck that. I don't want to do nothing else. I'm just going to do instrumentals. My name is now Angel City. I'm not Kaysha anymore. And hey, it was great. I'm happy. I did 2 albums. I'm out. And so Jean-Michel is a special guy because nowadays the label or whoever, it doesn't matter. The time has changed. Now everybody can make their business on their own. Yeah, but not at that time. At that time it cost a lot of money, so we didn't have a choice. So at that moment, wow, already 450 people watching. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Don't forget to leave your likes. So the problem with Jean-Michel at that time was that he used to say yes. Did you ever find out why they betrayed you? Oh, I know why. Because most people will see their interest instead of respect. And me, I see respect before my interest. That's it. But that would be a great conversation because the owner of my label works with me for sushiraw now. So because 20 years have passed, and I need a guy like him to supervise the business because he's a shark. So I went back to him, and all this is behind us. But we never had that conversation. He believes that I left the label because my head was big, when I actually left the label because I was heartbroken. But we never had that conversation. So if he sees this video, maybe it's time we have that conversation. But we call each other all the time. We homies, and like, but at that time there was those things that I never talked about because I'm that type of person. I keep those things in my heart and I just put them in music, and that's it. Instead of So the funny thing about Jean-Michel is that at that time he was a little reckless, and he would say yes to people, you know. Buddy met him, so he knows the story. What up, Buddy? So Jean-Michel said to these guys, yeah, listen, I will sign to your label if you also let me also have my label, etc., etc. But so they give him the funds to do the album of Lincha, the album of Randy, and the album of another guy. But they never signed a contract with him as an artist. And there was another big label. So because at that time, I don't remember what happened and who made a big splash, but everybody was looking for one star from the West Indies to become the big. And so they wanted to sign either David and Corinne or Jean-Michel Rotin or Thierry Cam, or everybody was looking for one big Caribbean artist to become like the summer superstar, etc. And Jean-Michel gets contacted by De Label, which was another label back then that was big, and I think now it's part of Universal, but at that time it was an independent label. And they were like, hey, listen, we'll give you 50,000 euros to sign with us. We want to sign you and to do your next album. And Jean-Michel goes and he signs a contract with them as a solo artist. And so he signed the art. So of course, inside of the record label industry, yeah, they all talk to each other. So, hey, what up with you? Da, 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 da. And I think the guys from my label, they go with the bosses of the label, and they're like, hey, so what's new? And they're like, oh, we have a big signature. You are now ready. Yo, we have the next Kassav. This is gonna be as big as Kassav. We have this guy called we have this guy, and you're not ready. We're gonna kill everything. We finally got him. Everybody was trying to sign him, but we signed him. Oh, who? Yeah, who? Tell me. And, yeah, Cigar. Like, yeah, we signed Jean-Michel Rotin. And my guys are like, wait, what? No, impossible. He's with us. And the guys are like, no, he's not with us. We just signed him. We signed the contract. It's done. We gave them his advance, etc., etc. So at that time, Jean-Michel Rotin's manager was my manager. At that time she was not my manager, but then she became my manager. And so Dominique, the head of my label, calls Guylaine. Yo, what the fuck? Hey, what the fuck is this? We agreed that. And Guylaine tells them, yeah, you agreed to do the label with him, but you didn't sign him. So those are two different things. And they're like, yo, no, we did the label so we could have him. That was the thing. We have him, and in exchange we also do his label, but our goal is to have him. And Guylaine tells them, I don't know what you guys talked about. All I know is I negotiated with you the funding of his label, so you have his label, but you don't have him as a signature. And whatever you proposed to him, the label had more money or more whatever. So yeah, we just signed with the label. So I don't know what to tell you. All I know is, so now the label are so pissed off that they decide to cut all the funds of the label and the project that he was doing. And poor Linsha, her album never came out. Actually, the album that Jean-Michel did called Nation, that he released in 2006 or 2007, I don't remember. All the songs are actually the song of that album of Linsha. That was also like, she was sad about that, but I mean, that's not my fault. That's not. All I know is that they said, oh, if we cannot have him, then we have no interest in continuing to fund his fucking label that we don't care about and his artist that we don't care about. We wanted him. And if we cannot have him, so fuck everybody. So all of a sudden, yeah, everybody has to come back from the West Indies and everything because the funding is over. And I think at that time, Jean-Michel, he didn't even do the album with the label because then they got absorbed by another label, and I think he didn't deliver the album at the time. I don't know. All I remember is that he never did no album either with one or with the others, and Linsha's album never came out as well. And I'm on tour in the West, in Guadeloupe. I remember probably 2000. I'm on tour in Guadeloupe, and my label owner is there as well, and we in the car, and he's driving and he's taking me, I don't know where. We were doing some promo shows, and we're going from radio to radio, and we have a 1 hour drive going from one side of the island to the other. And we here driving, and he's like, And I see he's annoyed. So me, I know everything that is going on, but I'm not saying anything since nobody ever told me nothing. So I'm just there. I'm in the car. I'm just there waiting and listening to the radio and whatever. And he's like, your friend is a piece of shit, you know? Your friend is a piece of shit. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yo, you know? And then he started telling me the whole story. That, oh, you know, we gave him a label and we gave him a label and we did this and we did that and we funded the album of that girl and this and that. And you know what he did? And you know what he did? You know what he did, this motherfucker? You see? And I'm like, yeah, what did he do? Oh, he signed to fucking Universal, to Delabel, to another label. How can I do this? And me, I'm just watching it. Just watching it. I'm like, wow, that's a crazy story. But in my head, I want to tell him. So wait, you gave him the label, or my idea of doing a label on the third floor. You gave him that idea. It cost you way much because instead of doing the label on the third floor, he went to record in the West Indies. You fund all that money that came from the sales of my album, and you gave them all that money to sign my artist that I wanted to work with, and then you complaining to me. You have a lot of nerve complaining to me, my friend. But instead of saying that, I said, but why didn't you sign a contract with him before funding the rest of his operation? Oh, you know, I thought I could trust him. And me, I'm like, oh, you thought you could trust him? Well, too bad. I guess you could not. And in my head, I'm like, and he's complaining to me. These motherfuckers have some nerves. Complain to me about getting fucked by the people they fucked me for. So, you know, after a point, I just want to leave the label. So before that, and at that time, I'm still not in this idea that I'm gonna build my own pyramids. I'm just disappointed in everything and everybody. So I end up going to Brussels, and so I have my other cousins, Ladisa and Shansi. They had a group called Quiet Storm. I have the ABG. I have Linsha as well. And the poor girl, she had nothing anymore, so she calls me. She's crying. She's like, I don't know what happened. I have no more album anymore. My dream is over, etc., etc. And I'm like, calm down. I'll don't worry. I got you. I meet Tia, I meet Anofela, Top One. I got all these people around me, and I decide to do a compilation. And again, I go to my label and I tell them, I mean, we could do a compilation. I mean, the thing is this, I didn't want to work with them anymore at that time, but I knew they could fund the project, and I was signed there anyway. So since I'm signed there, let me generate some projects. So, and you know, and maybe they will do my studio because I will prove them that I can do a project. So I tell them, hey, we should do a compilation where I invite a lot of people, and you know what they do? They start a project of a compilation with other guys. And they start inviting all the people that, so Ali Angel, all these guys. So I'm like, wow, these guys don't trust me. These guys don't trust me. They don't care about me. And they take my ideas. And why is everybody telling me to do classes? Okay, everybody has been telling this for the last 5 episodes. So I guess you're going to have to organize that. You're going to become my manager. So listen. After that, I'm like, those guys, 1, they don't trust me. 2, they take my ideas and they give it to other people. 3, they don't respect me. So I meet another guy called Ronald Rubinel, a legendary guy in the Zouk business. And Ronald happened to have a big studio. Actually, that's the studio where I recorded my first song with Jean-Michel Rotin back in 96. He has this big studio called Latitude 101, and he has everything there. And I'm explaining to him that I have a project, but my label, etc., etc. And he was like, yeah, what's your project? I says, oh, listen, I want to do a lot of beats, invite a bunch of artists. I want to call it Caribbean Soul. And so he's like, sounds like a great idea. Like, so why don't you do it? And I'm like, because I don't have a place where to do it. And he tells me, yeah, listen, you can do your project here. You record everything here. And me, I'll sell it to one of the labels that I know. I work with a lot of labels from the West Indies. And I can sell it to that person. They will buy it for, I don't know. Yes, he was. Exactly. And he says, I can sell your project for 30,000 euros or 15,000. I don't remember the numbers that back then. And listen, you take 15, I take 15. You record in my place for free, etc., etc. I provide the engineer. I provide the studio time. You can stay there every time you want. You bring all your people. And once the master is ready, I go sell it to one of my guys. And we do 50-50. And me, I'm like, yeah, sounds like a great idea. So I've called all my guys. So let me find Caribbean Soul. Caribbean Soul. This is Caribbean Soul. So you see, you had Mélanger. That's when I understood how to make hits. Mélanger with Lincha. Played again with Jacob de Varieux. I'm Sorry, Sexy Lady. Like 11 songs. Breakdown. Everybody that that signed in my label, like ABG, Lincha, Quiet Storm, all these people were there already at that time. So we start working on that project. So we work on the project quite fast. I make all the instrumentals. I start making all the melodies for everybody. And I do my songs. They do their songs. And once the album is finished, my label, they were also doing their own compilation. And for some reason, things were not going well because they work with some ghetto guys. And those guys were actually, they tried to disrespect me as well. And that's why actually I didn't want to have nothing to do with their compilation. And for some reason, I don't know why, one day I go to the office. So I go see my label owners. And I'm like, yo, what up, guys? So, hey, what's good? And they're like, yeah, you seem happy. And I'm like, yo, yeah, I'm happy. I just finished my compilation project. And they're like, oh, you did your project that you were talking about? I was like, oh, yeah, I did it, and it's fire. So I make them listen to, where's Caribbean Soul? That's on the other side, So I make them listen to a few tracks. So I make them listen to this. So I asked Jacob to come again. I sampled one of his songs and I asked him to come and sing on it, and he had no problem with it. I have this one as well.
Two, one. Also realize, and you and me there should visualize a fantasy.
So I just make them listen to those two songs. That's it. Soon as they hear the two songs, soon as they hear just those two songs, have a nice night, bro. Soon as they hear those two beats or those two songs, and I make them hear the rest, but soon as they hear, they're like, whoa, that shit is crazy. This is amazing. This is coming out on all our label, right? It's coming out here, right? And I'm like, no, it's not coming here. It's coming on another label. It's like, what you mean it's not coming here? Oh, look, come on. We have Sony, we have that, we have Sony behind us, You should not do this, and this should come here, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, you guys have your own compilation, so you will not work on two compilations. And no, forget that. Yo, this has to come here. This is what you should have done on your second album. This is crazy. This is amazing. And I'm like, I mean, you can come negotiate with Ronald for how much you're gonna buy the rights to exploit that project, but this is not a project for your label. It's a project of me and him, and he's the one who's dealing it, whatever. And then they try to, I'm not saying menace, but they like, yeah, but don't forget that you signed here, and because you signed here, you don't have the authorization to do other projects outside of here. And I tell them, I know I'm signed here as an artist, but this is a project where I'm an executive producer. So yeah, of course, I need your authorization to sing on other projects. But other than that, the rest of the songs, I don't need to ask you for nothing. And if you don't give me the authorization to perform my own song on that project, I will put somebody else to perform instead of me. I don't care. And they're like, no, come on. It's nothing like us. Nothing like that between us. But these projects should come out on your label. This is your house here. You cannot put stuff outside of your house. And I look at them and I'm like, guys, I came with that project and I gave you that project. I told you what I wanted to do. I told you it would cost you almost nothing. And you start laughing, saying that I think I'm P. Diddy. And now somebody else took the project. So I'm sorry. Maybe next time I have a project, you will take me seriously. But right now, that doesn't come here. So they were like, oh, come on, think about it. I was like, so the project came out under Pastel Productions. They gave us a good, I don't remember how much they gave us. So let's invent numbers. I think they gave me 15,000 euros and 50,000 to Ronald. We were super happy. He came, he gave me my money, and one of the songs was number one. So I started performing again like crazy. Me and Lincha and I, because of Mélanger, we start going all around the world performing that song. And he gave another life to all my old songs, so it was all good. And at that time, yeah, I left. That's when I was on my way out of the label, so I left that label, and I met Harold Sangamalon of Section Zouk, because he booked me on a tour actually in 2001. He booked me on a tour, and I loved the way the tour was professional. We were in a hotel for a whole month, and from the hotel we would go to all the parts of the island, and I was paid great. I came with my dancers, etc. It was a great moment, and everybody that was on that compilation was telling me, please, Kaysha, you have to do an album. You have to do a label, because the quality of the work you did on that compilation, Caribbean Soul, we want that, but as albums. And if you are the one who's leading us, we'll follow you. And then it stopped making sense. All those dreams, what up, ZL? All those dreams that I had when I was 12 years old, 11 years old, of building pyramids, I kind of understood at that moment, if I don't lead, the people that I will give all my power to and all my energy, they will fuck it up, because they don't respect it. They don't even have the vision. They don't even understand why it works. They just know that they're making money, but they don't care. And the guys from Sony, they're not even helping us. They don't even give us money to pay for a video or to pay for the studio, nothing. But I did this whole project almost by myself. All I needed was to have a guy who has a studio, and we did a nice deal, 50-50. So I told everybody, okay, give me a year. Let me think about it. Let me, Olga, you, let me think about it, and just be ready. So in 2002, I have a conversation with the manager of Sumia, and he's telling me, hey, we would love you to do her album. And he says, and we should go meet Harold Sangamalon, because Section Zouk, like a guy like you, listen, they have the money, but they don't have guys like you. And so I sit down with the guy from Section Zouk. We have the conversation with Harold, and we have a conversation about the cost of the album of Sumia. So we like, okay, blah, 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 blah. We end up arriving to a point where the album is gonna cost like 5,000 euros. And normally albums at that time cost 50,000, because you have to pay for the studio, we have to pay for the beats, we have to pay for the bass, the guitars, or all the different elements. And because I would do all the beats by myself, so you have to remove, like, let's say at that time a beat was 1,000 euros. So because I'm gonna do the 15 beats, I should remove 15,000 euros. All the bass, I'm gonna play them. Synth, so you can remove the bass player. I just need a guitarist and an engineer. And yeah, but what about the studio? And I was like, don't you have a studio here? Yeah, but it's a studio that we use for demos. I was like, why? You have Pro Tools, you have a good microphone. Why would you rent a studio when you have a studio here? And he's like, because the artists, they want to be in a big place. I was like, fuck that. Listen, we're gonna use your studio. So poof, we removed 20,000 of spend in the budget, and we realized that we can do an album for 5,000 euros, and then you add another 2,000-3,000 just for the music videos, and we're good. And he's like, so how you want to deal? I tell him, hey, listen, on my albums, 60% for me, 40% for you, and that's where I killed everybody. 100% of the digital for me. At that time, nobody cared about digital. Nobody knew what was digital. And I say, listen, YouTube, my videos on my YouTube channel. At that time, no, that was before YouTube exists, but my videos on my channel. I was using Vidler at that time, or Dailymotion. I don't remember. I think it was Vidler that I was using. I was like, I will put the videos on my website, Kaysha.com, and all the masters belong to me. But we do 60%, 40% on the CDs, the physical, and you take care of the marketing and etc. And that's for Kaysha. And for everything else, Sumia, we do 50-50, because I bring my beats, you don't pay for the beats. You bring your studio, I don't pay for your studio. So everybody has this. And once we recuperate, once we pay with the sales everything that it cost, so in terms of guitarists, engineers, whatever, then we do 50-50 on those albums from those artists. But I still own the masters and 100% of the digital. And he asked me, so what about publishing? I said, publishing, it's simple. You take the publishings of the artist, so everything that is writing, and my publishing goes to Sony because I'm signed. So that's 20. So yeah, 50-50 in publishing as well. But me, I won't have no part in publishing. And we do, and he tells me, that's an amazing deal. Do you have other people? Do you have other artists like this that you can do for 5,000 euros, 6,000, whatever? I said, of course. And I bring Elisio, I bring ABG, and that's the first year that we do the sushiraw and the building of the pyramids. And that's when I start building my own pyramids, because now I'm on, even if I have a partner at 50%, because I have ownership of everything, that's when I'm now building my first pyramid, and I'm now fulfilling my vision by myself, and I'm not trying to push my vision to somebody who doesn't care. That was the big difference. And on the first year, we sold I think 30,000 of my album It's a Love with Kaysha on Quoi, Fiona, all these songs. And we sold 35,000 of Sumia's album. And then we sold 10,000 of Elisio and another 10,000 of ABG, less because of piracy, but I think 5,000 of ABG. I don't remember how much on the physical, but we do around 70 to 80,000 sales of sushiraw projects. So that's 800,000 euros of revenue. And at that moment, I become the king of Zouk and king of Kizomba as well, because those albums start selling everywhere. And to go back to the beginning of the story, because we were on a loop where we had control of radio, we had control of the market, because the albums, when I would release an album, everybody was scared to release an album at the same time as me. We also had control of all the commercial centers because Harold's cousins were boss of all this. So we had our music playing in commercial centers, we had our music playing in radios, and we had all the big labels like Vagram, Warner, Sony asking us for our songs to put in their summer compilations. We start generating so much copyright money that Sony, that gave me an advance of 15,000 euros, I was still not able to pay because they were not giving me any jobs to do, so I could not make the copyright money back. In the end of the year 2003, my copyright money of the whole year is 60,000 euros. So I think I probably had 11,000 euros left of advance to pay. So I was not making any publishing money because every money I was generating was going straight to them to pay for the advance. But in 1 year, poof, I just received everything. So now, for those who are here from the beginning of the story, because my stories are long, the guy who's the head of A&R at Sony at that time, and who did everything for us to be fucked and didn't want to work with us, actually calls me. Yo, hey, I'm seeing the numbers, because you have to understand one thing. Because I'm signed to Sony, because I'm signed in publishing to Sony, every time I generate €1, it's divided by 2. 50 cents go to me as a composer or a writer, and the other 50 cents goes to my publisher, which is Sony. So all these things that I'm generating, all this money that I'm generating from Sumia's album, Kaysha on dit quoi, Fiona, One Love, and Elisio's album, all these songs are published. They're not signed as the masters belong to Sushiraw, but the publishing belong 50% to Section Zouk and 50% to Sony, because I have a contract where everything I create until the end of the contract has to go to them. So they take care of protecting the songs, etc. We sign all these contracts where they always have 25%. Harold, Section Zouk has 25% of the publishing. Sumia, for example, has 25% as a writer, and I have 25% as a composer, and everybody's happy. But I generate 60,000 that year. So if I generate 60,000 euros that year, it means that the publishing also generates 60,000, if you understand the calculation. So it means that the gross that was generated was not 60,000. Since my part in most songs was 25%, it means that if let's say a song generates €1 for me, it means that as a composer, it means that it also generated €1 for the writer, Sumia, for example, and it also generated €1 for Sony, and it also generated €1 for Section Zouk, because we are 25, 25, 25, 25. So when I receive 60,000, the money that is actually generated is 240,000. And at that moment, Sony received numbers. They're like, wait a minute. This guy has generated us 60,000? Who's this guy? And now everybody's remembering me. Yo, call him, because I generate 60,000 euros in 1 year for them, and another 60,000 for Section Zouk. and my artists are receiving also. But I mean, me, in terms of the money that I was making, because I was making money from my composition on my albums, on Sumia's album, on Eligio album, on Abeje album, plus the other songs that everybody was buying, like Deeper for Nelson Freitas and etc. etc. Or maybe Deeper was later, but at that time everybody wanted to work with me. And the first year, Sony realized that not only I paid my advance of 10,000 that was left, plus another 55,000 euros that they made. And me, I'm here and I have, like, in my bank account, I have probably 100,000 euros, and I get a call from our guy at Sony, the guy who was like, hey, there's no space for you here. That's not how you do music. And he's like, yo, hello, Kay, my boy, yo, I'm a fan of what you do. That's amazing. Yo, you know, everywhere I go, blah, 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 blah. My wife loves you. Yeah, you have to get, blah, 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 blah. You have to give me some albums. And hey, listen, you have to come by the office. We never see you here. And me, I'm like, you never see me here because I don't feel welcome. What the fuck you talking about? Sony is your house. And listen, you have to pass by because your contract is about to expire. And we almost 2005. It's almost the end of your contract. And, you know, the boss would love to meet. The boss would like to talk to you and have, you know, a conversation with you. I'm like, yeah, all right. What day? And they're like, oh, you know, what about Monday? Can you come Monday? Yeah, I can come Monday. Let's see. Yeah, I have time Monday. So on Monday, I go to Sony. I arrive there. The big boss is there of the publishing. Great guy. The big boss is there. The snake is there. And everybody's there. And everybody's telling me that, there's champagne. I don't drink, but there's champagne. And they're like, oh, you know, at Sony, we love you, blah, blah, blah. And we believe that that you should, you should sign with us for another 5 or 7 years. We would like to propose an extension of your publishing contract for 7 years. And of course, we will provide you this and that, and we will help you when you shoot music videos, and we will give you access to our studios, and maybe your instrumentals can be heard by this, and this and that. And I tell them, okay, I want 400,000 euros. And they look at me like, what? That's a lot of money. I'm like, listen, if you look at your numbers, without your help and the help of anybody, actually, because you guys never helped me since 98 until 2005, the last 7 years that I've been signed here, you never put my music nowhere. So and by myself, by my own doing, with my team and the artists that I work with, and I generated 65,000. I mean, if we just take all the parts, I generated 240,000 euros in 1 year, and in those 240,000, your share was 60,000 for doing nothing. So if you want to sign me for another 7 years, and I'm probably going to generate 100,000 next year, I believe that, yeah, you should give me 400,000, and that's not an advance. It's not 400,000 that I'm gonna give you back in the next X years. I want 400,000, and maybe we can say 100,000 will be recuperable, where will make your money back in the next 1 or 2 years. Since I'll probably generated 100,000 next year, you can have that money. But the other 300,000, that's gonna be a bonus for me to work with you guys, because I don't need you guys, and I don't see why I would share my money with you, where I could make 100,000 by myself and not sharing it with you. But you want me to share it with you, so you're gonna have to show incentive. And I don't care about your bottles of champagne. I don't drink. I want 400,000. And so they all look at each other, and they were like, we'll get in touch with you. And I was like, yeah, good, fine. And I think after a week, they called my manager, and they told her that, 400,000 is a lot of money. The economy is different now, blah, 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 blah. We can give him 100,000 advance, but 400 is really too much. And we were like, okay, thank you. Since our contract is coming to an end, it's been a blessing and a pleasure to be signed to your prestigious publishing company. We are very thankful, and I mean, they still have the publishing of all my songs prior to 2005. So something going on the Qua, One Love, all these songs, they're still on Sony Music Publishing. And I mean, I love all the girls that work there with me, that did the part of the writing stuff. Like, we still send each other email and stuff. But I was like, hey, time for me to create by myself and fulfill my vision by myself. And that's when this day my deal with Sony Music Publishing was over. I created Sushiraw Publishing, and I started being my own publisher, where every time I generate 100 euro of copyright money, I have 50 that goes to me and 50 that go to Sushiraw, which is me. And I also signed every artist that was on Sushiraw. The deal was, yeah, we'll do your album, etc., but publishing is to us. And I would do every album that came out under Sushiraw. So Mika Mendes, the albums that Religio after, the Sumi after, the Kaysha's album, Isa, Taina, Ledes, all these albums was me at the composition sometimes. And even when I was not at the composition, I had 25% of the publishing of all these projects. And that's how I start building my own pyramids. That's how I start understanding that when you have a vision, and when you have when you want to navigate in this world full of sharks and full of people who, they're not here for you, they're here for their money, they're here for their own interest. You have to understand that when you have the visions like I have, you cannot let other people take care of the business, and you cannot let people have control over your destiny. You have to be the person who's at the helm of your own destiny, and you have to be the leader. And it's something that I used to be scared of, being the leader. But after that, I decided that, yeah, I'm about to go myself too. Good night, Ellis. And that's when I decided that, yeah, I would be the leader, and I would be the one that would create all these things, because I understood that my thought process and my visions were way ahead of everybody back then. And that's how I became, the head of my own label, of my own publishing, of my own creation, and of my own destiny. And until today, I work with these rules. I could do this show, Club Shada, on my friend's Bruno's channel, or my friend's Nelson. Bruno has this channel, Mike Kizomba. There's 1 million people subscribed there. Or Classic. I could, yo, bro, listen, want to do a live show? Let's do it on your channel, and then we share the revenue, whatever. And they also have 1 million subscribers. I only have 160. Actually, we just passed 165,000 subscribers. But I could instead of using a channel like this one, I could go to channels that have a lot of people, like 1 million people, and this show would be way more popular, but it would not be on my channel. And that's what I learned. I'd rather build my own country. I would rather build my own platform so that I'm able to control my destiny. This is why, as an artist, I'm blessed that because of that vision, when everybody's dreaming to be hired to perform in clubs, I can use everything that I built to be able to invest in my own shows. If I want to do a show, if I really want to do a show, I feel I really want to perform, I can call anybody anywhere in the world and say, hey, listen, I'm gonna come, I'm gonna pay my ticket, I'm gonna pay the hotel, you're gonna pay this and this, and we do 50-50, and I'll pay the artist, which is, since it's me, I can even bring Body Sadva to DJ, and don't worry about this, we just want 50% of the revenue of the party, and we'll share the risk with you, because we don't want to be the employees of no one. We want to be bosses. We want to be the leaders of our own destiny. And that's why I tell people, when they start a live show, when they start selling their own songs, when they want to have a restaurant or whatever, I tell them, do your live show on your channel. Yeah, but there's only free people watching. Yes, they are your free people. From those free people, they will bring, if everybody bring free friends, we will have 9 people. And from 9 people, one day you will have 20, one day you will have 200, one day you have whatever. It might take 10 years. But after 10 years, you will have X 100 episodes of your show that you can then resell, then you can then whatever, and then you have your own content. And we are in a world where content is king. Who has content is interesting to all these platforms. If somebody from Netflix tomorrow, or from Amazon, or from wherever, or from Spotify, for whatever reason is on YouTube scooting looking for stuff, and he ends up discovering Club Shada, and he hears me talk about my stories, they could send me a message telling me, hey, we would love to have you present a show, or do this or do that, and I will come with my terms. I say, well, I can do a show for you, but I own it. Or if you wanna own it, it's gonna cost you that much amount of millions. And those building pyramids for others taught me that I had to build my own for myself, so that once all my pyramids are built, that's when people will realize that it's a spaceship that I'm building, and one day the whole land will go up, Sokovia style. And those are lessons that I learned through frustration again, through sadness, through betrayal of the people that I trusted. And I'm sure that until today, all these people believe that, oh, Kaysha, at a point, he just decided that he was better than us or he was too good for us. No. You guys broke my heart and I just moved on. My fidelity doesn't exist with people who break my heart. And because my heart is music, once you betray me in music, my heart is broken. And I'll move on. That's it. If not, I would still be working with the same people.